From day to night, Old Town Trolley Tours of Nashville has been guiding visitors through the Music City with a hop-on, hop-off experience that is equal parts entertaining and educational. So climb aboard the most trusted tour in the city and see the best of Nashville first on Old Town Trolley Tours.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is Rob's video of his hop-on hop-off trolley tour in Nashville, Tennessee. So if you're ready, I'm going to turn it over to Rob and he's going to show you his tour that he took when he was in Nashville. So let's get started.
Famous Printer's Alley signage. You can see the newspaper pole in the center there. Well, in the early part of the 20th century, 10 different printing companies were here, 13 different publishing companies. The three largest newspapers in Nashville, the Tennessean and the Nashville Banners, had their headquarters here. It evolves into becoming nightclubs over time. This is where you can find jazz, blues, Gretchen Wilson, Tim McGraw, some people who started the bars here back in the day. Now there's a place here called Skulls, and back in the day there, that's where Patsy Cline, for the very first time, will sing the song Crazy live for an audience. The guitar player that night is a guy named Willie Nelson, and then the house comedian for the night was another guy named Andy Griffith. Now across the street to your left is the LNC Towers. Now and when it was built in the 60s, it was actually the tallest building in the southeast. And then across the street to your right where the Chase Bank is located. Well, early 60s, there was a hotel there, the Maxwell House Hotel. Unfortunately, it burnt down in the early 60s. But that's where the Maxwell House coffee brand gets its start, created by Joel Cheek. If you go to Cheekwood, that estate was created by the money he made off of his coffee process. But you gotta remember the slogan for Maxwell House is good to the last drop. But do you know who they say come up with that slogan? That would be Teddy Roosevelt. Now he's staying here at the Maxwell House Hotel. He's going to speak at the Ryman Auditorium. One morning he had breakfast and I already had one cup of coffee. And so the waiter comes back to ask if he wanted another cup of coffee. He said yes, it was good to the last drop. We're now heading to the Ryman. And before it became known for the Grand Ole Opry, it had a nickname, Honky Hall of the South, largest concert hall south of the Ohio River. Now some of their performers, magician Houdini, Debussy Fields, Charlie Chaplin, Bob Hope, Helen Hayes, Katharine Hepburn, Mae West, the Fitzgerald singers, ballet stars, and Jessica Pavlova. Now their first sound out was for Helen Keller and Anne Sullivan. Built in the latter part of the 1800s by Thomas Green Ryman, who had started fishing the Cumberland River during the Civil War to make money for his family after his father passed away. Now eventually he will own the largest shipping line on the Cumberland River, the Ryman Line. By 1885, he owned 35 riverboats, a saloon, and a brothel. Same year, we had a tent revival meeting here in town. Lasted for 3 weeks, met 3 times a day, led by Reverend Sam Jones, who will become a well-known traveling preacher for telling people to quit your meanness. Very much against drinking, gambling, even baseball. Now, word filtered back to Captain Ryman what was being said in the meetings. It was going to be bad for business, carried the most freight. Some of that freight was whiskey. And you know the passengers were drinking and gambling times, so it was messing with his livelihood. So it's going to go up and run Reverend Jones out on a rail one night. Well, instead of causing ruckus, he got converted so crowded, inside, outside the tent, he decided to build for Reverend Jones. Now, it took him 7 years, $100,000, most of it would be his money. But he got it built, the Union Gospel Tabernacle for all denominations. While he was still alive, Nashvillians would try to rename the building after him. He'd always tell them no. So he passed away in 1904, but on Christmas morning, on Christmas Day, they hold his funeral at the Union Gospel Tabernacle. And Reverend Jones is giving the eulogy. And at one point, he suggested they rename the building after Ryman. And so everybody in attendance stood up and agreed. So from that day forward, it's been known as the Ryman Auditorium. Now from 1904 to 1955, Lula Knapp, she ran the Ryman. She's the woman who put it on the fact it's on today. In 1943, she invited the Grand Ole Opry to the Ryman, and they stayed there until 1974. Now in the 1960s, you'd see performers like, well, Johnny Cash recorded his TV show there in the 60s, and then you see performers like Bob Dylan, Linda Ronstadt, Joni Mitchell, the Monkees, Kenny Rogers, and many others there. Bill Monroe, Earl Scruggs, Lester Flatt, and two other men, well, some people performed there in the 40s, but Bill Monroe, Earl Scruggs, Lester Flatt, two other men created the prototypical bluegrass band there on the stage of Ryman. So you could say bluegrass was born on the stage of Ryman Auditorium. Here's a little bluegrass for you.
That's all the light, that's all the light. No more darkness, no more night. Now I'm back in the sorrow that time.
And if you look to your left, you get another good look at the AT&T building, again the tallest building here in Tennessee, but locally known as the Batman building. It's 617 feet tall. Alright, so we're going to see the back side of Ryman, but it's actually the new entrance. There's a gift shop in the theater. The theater gives you a great presentation of the history of the Ryman. Now we sell discount tickets for the self-guided tour, but there is a guided tour that will take you to the backstage area of the Ryman. And then there's actually a new rock and roll tour. And then on loan from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they have an exhibit there on the second floor of the Ryman Auditorium. Now, if you go into the Ryman, originally there was no balcony. The balcony was built in the latter part of the 1800s. They were having a reunion of Confederate soldiers there, and so they built the balcony for that particular event. Now, we're getting ready to go into Broadway, the Honky Tonk Highway. And what's a honky tonk? It's a place where you can listen to country music live, drink, dance to your heart's content. And there is no cover charge, so you're welcome to go inside, enjoy the music, the ambiance of each place. About every 3 hours, a new band does hit the stage. And if you happen to have children with you, well, most places welcome children up until 6 o'clock. And then at 6 o'clock, that is when they start carding people. Where that mechanical machine is right there on our right-hand side of that there used to be a parking lot up until last year, and it was bought for $10 million. So that's what $10 million will get you these days in downtown Nashville. It's going to be 6 floors. It will be more than Wayland's Honky Tonk, so that's what's going to be going into that space. It'll be a place for Morgan Wayland. So there's a lot of things going on here in downtown area these days. Now, when we get out here to the Ryman, again, it's the back side of the Ryman, but it's the new entrance. Now, on the pedestal, there'll be a statue of Captain Thomas Green Ryman. In the courtyard, there'll be a life-size statue of little Jimmy Dickens, an opera star. Now, it's 1943 to 1974 that the Ryman hosted the Grand Ole Opry. Then it moves out to the Grand Ole Opry House of the day. And again, that is a life-size statue of little Jimmy Dickens. There you go. Now, across the street to your right, will be the Merchant's Restaurant and Grill, a place of fine dining today. Back in 1892, it's the Merchant's Hotel. Cost you a whopping 25 cents to stay there. And that will get you a room with a bed and a fireplace, but not necessarily much privacy. And when the Grand Ole Opry hit the Ryman, stars like Little Red Man, Patsy Cline, Hank Williams, and so many others will stay right there. Now, they did the restaurant conversion in 1988. Well, in the walls, they discovered Civil War era. There's artifacts that are on display in the building. Now, the building itself goes back to the 1870s. Bottom floor was a drugstore. Top floor pharmaceutical manufacturer. And they had a concoction that was a combination of opium and alcohol called blood medicine. Now, the most famous honky tonk in this next block, in the whole Honky Tonk Highway, is going to be Tootsie's Orchid Lounge. Tootsie Best bought the bar back in 1960 for $500. It's called Mom's. Now, she'll pay a man to repaint the exterior of the building. Well, instead of going out and buying some paint specifically for that building, He just takes in the paint he had, mixes up the colors, comes up with a color. She'll see. She wasn't happy with it, but she learned to live with it. And that's when she renamed it Tootsie's Corporate Lounge. So look here, right, you'll see Tootsie's Corporate Lounge. Some of their customers, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Honky Hall, Christmas Carlson, really, who's who country music have performed there. Known for her generosity, she gave a struggling singer, songwriter a $5 or $10 bill behind the bar was a cigar box full of IOUs. She didn't want to see anyone going starving, and the grand performers didn't want to see her going broke. So at the end of the year, they pass the hat around. Make sure all those IOUs are paid for. Now across the street to your right, that's Fifth and Broadway, about Midwest Street. You'll find Hattie B's, known for their hot chicken. Second floor, massive food hall, around 20 eateries. One of those eateries is Prince's Chicken, the original hot chicken of Nashville. Now on the corner to your right, Leisure's Corner, this was the green room for the Grand Ole Opry up in 1974. Today, go inside there, listen to some good live local music. You'll find a variety of musical devices on display, like a Warlow Turkey. And then all the singles from Sun Records, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, and many others. And look to your right, you'll see the Leisure's Corner mural. I made those stars you recognize. And then to your front right, the Mother Church of Country Music, the Ryman Auditorium. Now these walls could only sing. Look to your left, you'll see the National Museum of African American Music. The music goes all the way back to the 1600s, very African Museum. On your right, the backstage exit entry Ryman, which you may kind of go in the back door of Tootsie's. See how close one is to the other? Willie Nelson said it took 17 steps to go from the Ryman to Tootsie's, but for some strange reason, it'll take him 34 steps to get back to the Ryman Auditorium. But we've arrived to stop number 2. We'll have a trolley here by every 20 minutes or so. But that last tour of the day is leaving stop 1 at 4 o'clock. And remember, all tours after 4 o'clock end up stop 13. Enjoy your day. Watch steps, use the handrails.
So we're going to go and stay on.
Stop out tearing that building down using those very bricks to build a small church by the Grand Ole Opry House. But the locals will restore national musicians who performed there created a national campaign to make sure that did not happen. 1991, Emmylou Harrison, her band the Nash Ramblers for 3 nights, performed there on the stage at Ryman. They recorded it, created an album called In the Ryman, brought focus to the fact that there needed to be a music venue once again, and that's what they did. They renovated it. Here in the wintertime, November to January, the Grand Ole Opry is back there on the stage of the Ryman. All right, so to your front right, Downtown Presbyterian Church. It is the 3rd church to be at this location. The first 2 churches burned down. Now, the section built here in the early part of the 20th century, look above the doors, the windows, notice those light fixtures right there. It gives you a clue about the sanctuary, what it looks like inside. See, the sanctuary was built back in 1851. You see inside, it looks like an Egyptian temple. It's one of the last examples of Egyptian revival architecture in the world. Philadelphia William Strickland was the architect. Same man who did the architectural design of our state capitol. Now, 1815, the first Presbyterian church that was at this location, so Andrew Jackson received a ceremonial sword from the state of Tennessee, followed by Mons on his footsteps. And during the Civil War, building to your right, used as a hospital, our Union Hospital number 8, at 206 beds. Now across the street to your left on that corner, Puckett's Grocery and Restaurant. Over 50 years of history right here, all the way back to Leapersport, Tennessee. Known for their Southern barbecue meat and 3. And what's a meat and 3? It's a meat and 3 vegetables, with macaroni and cheese being considered a vegetable here in the South. Now on your right, the church has an electronic billboard. Sometimes we're lucky and able to see some of the interior shots of the church right here on your right. Now this area is where we see the Nashville sit-ins in 1960. A non-violent form of protest. They were protesting the segregation of the downtown lunch counters. On the monitor you'll see images of the protest. It goes from February to May. May 10th, 1960, 6 of the downtown department stores will open up their lunch counters to African American customers. Well, down here on your left will be the location of those lunch counters. In 1960, it would have been the World War V and dine. Today it's the Woolworth Theater. It sits about 750 people. The show is called Shiners. It's about a family of moonshiners. It's Cirque du Soleil meets theater, basically. And also in the window you'll see like a counter. So the imagery of the sit-ins, and the jacket there was actually represented John Lewis's jacket. He was a student, one of the student leaders here. He was a representative from Georgia. That to left there is the World War V, where the World War V diamond is located. Now here on your right, next to Walgreens, is the arcade. Here's some images of it. It's designed after Italian Galleria. It is Nashville's first shopping center. 40,000 people showed up the first day. Only 120,000 people lived in Nashville time. Now the bottom floor has a variety of eateries. There is a peanut store that was originally a Planters peanut store. Been in that location since 1927. In the days when Andrew Jackson was a lawyer, 2 blocks to your right is where his law office has been located. Now across the street to your left, that building has 2 functions. It is the James K. Polk State Office Building, as well as the Tennessee Performing Arts Center. Home to the Nashville Ballet, Nashville Opera, Nashville Tour Theater that will tour in Broadway season. Now we're going to make this turn on the Union. And then across the street to your left on that corner is going to be Nashville's first $1 million hotel. And at one point, the only 5-diamond AAA hotel in the entire state of Tennessee. Now it's a 4-diamond AAA hotel. It is the Hermitage Hotel, named for Andrew Jackson's home. It opens up in this is where Dinah Shore gets his singing career starting in the late 40s. Gene Autry, the singing cowboy, was here. When he was, his horse Champion was with him. Now some say Champion had his own room, but actually just stayed there in the lobby. And gentlemen, if you happen to be in the lobby and you feel the need to go to the restroom, take comfort. You're in the #1 rated bathroom in all of the United States back in 2008. And ladies, there's a sign out front that says you're allowed to go inside to look at that bathroom. That's how special it is. It's an Art Deco style bathroom done in a lime green. Again to your right, Tennessee Performing Arts Center. And then soon to be on your left is the War Memorial Auditorium. And then to your front left is our state capitol. And we've arrived to stop number 3. We have a trolley here every 20 minutes or so. But the last tour of the day is leaving stop 1 at 4 o'clock. And remember, after 4 o'clock, all tours will end at the Country Music Hall of Fame. Stop number 13. Again, for those getting on, watch step, use your handrails. Enjoy your time here in Nashville. 1925 to honor the 3,400 Tennesseans that lost their lives during World War I. Now, their names are on placards on the walls in the courtyard. In the courtyard is a statue called Victory. He's holding Nike, the goddess of victory. Now, as you gaze upon that courtyard, the left-hand side of the building is an auditorium. That's going to be the 4th home to the Grand Ole Opry from 1939 to 1943. But they got so rowdy, out of control up here, they got kicked out of the building. That is the reason why they had to go to the Ryman Auditorium. Charlie Daniels has his first volunteer jam here. David Bowie as Ziggy Stardust, Kiss with Rush, Mumford & Son, Weird Al Yankovic are just some of the people that have performed there. Now across the street to your left is our state capitol. I'll tell you more about it when we get to the Bicentennial Mall. Still in the state grounds, over here on your left-hand side, you have to look over the bus here. But there's a statue of Doughboy, Sergeant Alvin C. York. If you've ever seen the movie Sergeant York starring Gary Cooper, who won an Oscar, that's him. Now, Sergeant York earned a Medal of Honor during World War I, captured 132 German soldiers single-handedly in one of the battles there in France in 1917. Across the street to your right on that corner, oldest church in the downtown area, St. Mary of the Seven Sorrows Catholic Church. It was the Nashville Cathedral until 1914. It is a Greek Revival building built back in 1847. Now we'll make this turn back on to represent the John Lewis Way, and on our right-hand side, it will look like a flying saucer land here in the 60s. It's actually been one of the first venues in the South that would be air-conditioned. It's the Municipal Auditorium. Elvis, Rolling Stones, Jackson 5, Earth, Wind & Fire, Harlem Globetrotters, Disney on Ice, Shriner Circus, WWE, a few sports teams. Last year, Judas Priest were rocking it out, so it's still being used as a music venue. I've seen like John Cougar Mellencamp, REO Speedwagon, Loverboy, Heart, The Time, Cameo, Prince, other great shows inside this building. Now, also inside here, Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum, a place for music lovers that honors the music of all genres. It's about the session players, the people behind the music. You learn about Stack Records, Sun Records, American Studios out of Memphis, Motown out of Detroit, Musho Studios out of Northern Alabama, variety of musical devices on display. The LA scene. Now there's the drum kit used in some of Tom Petty's songs here. There's a Grammy Museum. It's a very interactive museum. Steve Ray Vaughan, Toto, Charlie Daniels, Barbara Mandrell, Booker T and G's, Jimi Hendrix are just some of the people in the Hall of Fame. We do sell discount tickets to the Hall of Fame. You don't have to use the tickets today. There's like a 2-week window. But we were around stop number 4 by a trolley here about every 20 minutes or so. But that last tour day does leave stop 1 at 4 o'clock. And remember, all tours after 4 o'clock end at stop 13. But here we are, stop number 4, Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum. Well, how's everyone doing? Good. Good, all right. Anybody got any questions at all? Any questions at all? I don't know if you can see it, but down there in the courtyard, just on this side of their little logo, is a statue of Chad Atkins, known as Mr. Guitar. Here's a little Chad Atkins for you, Mr. Sandman. So we have a variety of nicknames. I think everybody's aware of Music City USA. Now our first one, Rock City. You're basically sitting on limestone. Vocal of the Bible Belt. Around 700 churches are here in Nashville, Davidson County, and publishing, specifically religious material, becomes a big business in the latter part of the 1800s. Now our newest nickname, Nash Vegas, we are the #1 destination for private parties in the United States. And then the Athens of the South, the Greek architecture. Multiple higher universities like Vanderbilt, Fisk, Tennessee State University, Belmont, Lipscomb, Tribeca, and many others, but also we had the first public school system to be established in the South back in 1855. Well, come up on your right, this white building, News Channel 5, WTVF. Now back in the day it was WLAC, and Jimi Hendrix performed in one of the TV shows here in the early 60s. He lived here in Nashville. He said it was here in Nashville that he really learned to play the guitar, so everybody can play the guitar here in Nashville. This is where Oprah Winfrey gets her start as a TV reporter. 19 years of age, a student at Tennessee State University, works her way up to being a co-anchor for one of the weekend news desks. Do y'all remember the TV show? Hee-haw! Hosted by Buck Owens and Roy Clark, a mixture of country music and humor. Well, from 1968 to 1980, twice a year, 2 weeks at a time, in that basement of that building is where they recorded that show. Now we're heading to the Bicentennial California State Park, which was created for our bicentennial back in 1996. We became the state June 1st, 1796. On your right, you'll see our 200-foot long granite map of Tennessee. You begin over there in Memphis on the Mississippi River. That's the lowest point in Tennessee. You make your way across East Tennessee to Cleveland's Dome. That's the highest point. You don't go home and tell everybody to take a couple minutes to walk the whole state of Tennessee. So there's that map. Now we're headed to the farmer's market. Each morning opens up at 8 o'clock. Inside, it's like a food court in a mall. Variety eateries, very budget-friendly. Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Mexican, Indian, Jamaican, Greek, Southern barbecue, craft beer joint, a winery, ice cream shop, coffee shop, new vegan taco place, a pizza joint, and many other things are inside there. Now the open air market, that's where you'll find the craft and flea vendors and farmers, mainly on the weekends, but you'll find here during the week. And then on the end of it will be a nursery. Also, you can see from here at the stop will be the Tennessee State Museum, which is free to the public. Thousands of years of Tennessee history inside there. Jawbone of a mastodon discovered down in Williamson County. The tools, the pottery Native Americans may have used, and some of the personal effects of Sergeant Alvin C. York. But here on your right, you see the farmer's market. Again, there's the nursery, then the open air market, then the indoor market, and then on the other side is the Tennessee State Museum. The park is on the other side. Vehicles can't go in there right now, but you can walk around the park itself. But we've arrived at stop number 5. We'll have a trolley here every 20 minutes or so. But the last tour day is leaving stop 1 at 4 o'clock. And remember, all tours after 4 o'clock will end up at stop 13 of the Country Music Hall of Fame. For those getting off, watch step, use a handrail. Enjoy your day here in Nashville. Stop number 5. As thousands of years of Tennessee history, from 1996 to 1 billion BCs. Facts, quotes, and stories of Tennessee history. Now, just down this street coming up to our right, on the other side of the wall, I think you can make out the World War II memorial. And a part of that memorial will be a granite globe. It weighs 9 tons. It's resting on that 1/8 of an inch water seat, so it's spinning. So if you look to your right in the distance there, you'll see that memorial. So it spins, so it marks the different battlefields Tennesseans would have fought on during World War II. Now in that same area, on this side of the wall, will be a chair behind the chain. It is dedicated to the MIAs of our country. Again, to your right is our Tennessee State Museum. It's state-of-the-art. It's free to the public. Again, it's open today from 10 to 4. Now, we're going to make this right on the Jefferson Street, but if we were to make a left and go back in time, the clubs on Jefferson Street would have been hopping. You would have seen performances by Etta James, Ella Fitzgerald, Aretha Franklin, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Ray Charles, Otis Redding, Little Richard, Jimi Hendrix, so many other African-American performers. They were performing on what was called the Chitlin Circuit here in the South. And here to you that this community is called Germantown. German immigrants will start settling here in the 1840s. That steeple there is the Catholic Church. They had their services in German up until World War I. Now, for the folks on my right-hand side, get your cameras ready. You're going to see why they built the mall where they did. From up here, there will always be this unobstructed view of our state capitol. It is one of 12 capitals that does not have a dome. It is a Greek revival building. It is built between 1845 to 1859. William Strickland was the architect, but he will not see the completion of the building. He died 5 years before. And so he requested to be entombed in the building, so he's actually buried in the left-hand corner of the state capitol as you look at it. So look to your right coming up. You just have to go home and Photoshop the tents out of the way. There is the freight shop there. Now to your right is the Carolines, 50 columns, 95 bells. At the pop and bomb the hour, you hear songs like Rocky Top, Let Me Tender, American Beautiful, and this song right here, the Tennessee Waltz.